Hello, my name is Greg Corning, and I am the chair of the Political Science Department at Santa Clara University. Welcome to our virtual open house 2020. It's a virtual open house in more ways than one, as I come to you live from our spare bedroom / my home office. Of course, we hope by the time you're ready to venture off to college that the beautiful Santa Clara campus will be open and we'll be able to welcome you to campus. For now, we're on video. If you'll forgive me for a moment, I would like to share my screen, and this will help orient the brief presentation a little bit as I appear as a talking head in the corner of your screen. This will be a short video, perhaps 10 to 15 minutes, just to give you an introduction to our department. If you visit the department webpage, and I'll provide the link a little bit later on in the video, you'll have access to a lot more resources about us and what we do. Speaking of us, this is the Santa Clara Poli-Sci faculty. In the fall of 2021, we will be a department of 14 full-time faculty. These are faculty who've been working at Santa Clara for many years, are invested in the department and the institution, know it well, know the discipline well, and are able to help you navigate Santa Clara and also succeed in the discipline and make the next few steps on your career trajectory. If you go to the website, you'll get a sense of the courses we teach, the research we do, and basically what the discipline of political science would look like for you at Santa Clara. This slide presents a brief overview of the discipline of political science, and the discipline will be pretty much the same no matter what four-year college or university you go to in the United States. The real question is the relative balance and emphasis on these different fields, the strength of the department faculty in these areas, and the breadth of the courses that a department can offer based on the size of its faculty. Really, four traditional fields in poli-sci: American politics, where you would study US political institutions, the presidency, Congress, the judiciary, and various aspects of the political process, from campaigns and elections to interest groups to public policy, state and local politics, and so forth. Comparative politics, as the name suggests, compares different political systems. You may be comparing countries within a region, for instance, different European political systems. You may be comparing across regions. You may be comparing thematically, looking at authoritarian versus democratic systems, or the politics of developed or less developed countries. You may be looking at a specific issue in different contexts. For example, environmental policy or health policy, education policy in different systems. International relations, again, as the name suggests, looks at relations between nations. Part of that focuses on the work of big international institutions, many of which you will have heard of: the United Nations, also the World Trade Organization, International Monetary Fund, and others. It also looks at issues of war and peace, national security, terrorism, economic development, all of these things taking place in an international context. Finally, the fourth pillar of the discipline is political philosophy, where you would read some of the foundational thinkers. You may know some of these names: Machiavelli, Kant, Locke, and so forth, and also transitioning into more contemporary thinkers as well. Finally, research methods, which at some campuses would be a fifth field, and at others would be a set of tools to help you explore the other four fields, particularly American, comparative, and international. We require all students to take one course in research methods, and we also have an additional elective course in quantitative research methods, which is quite popular for those thinking about business or graduate study in public policy or political science. I won't spend too long on this slide. You can actually see this handout on our department website. I just want to give you a sense of what a political science major may look like at Santa Clara. It involves 13 courses, which may sound like a lot, but as you may know, Santa Clara is on the quarter system, 3 10-week terms rather than 2 15-week semesters. So that means students take more courses than they would on the semester system. So many Santa Clara students double major. So we have double majors within the college, maybe poly and psych double majors, poly and economics double majors, poly and Spanish double majors. We also have a few students from the business school in finance and marketing who have chosen a major or a minor in political science outside of their own college. So that's one of the real takeaways I want you to get from this slide. The other is that, as this handout may suggest, there's a lot of scaffolding in place to help you succeed at Santa Clara, navigate your way through the department and the core curriculum, see how the major slots into the core curriculum. We have peer advisors in the department, your fellow students. We have faculty advisors. We also have the German Advising Center on campus. So a lot of resources in place to help you succeed. I think it's also important to think about our department and our institution in context. Right now, you're embarking on a research process. You're looking at different colleges and trying to figure out what will work for you. And I think an important part of events like Open House is not just to sell you on a particular institution. There's lots of good institutions out there, and Santa Clara is certainly one of them. But to give you a better sense of what the spectrum of opportunities looks like and what's going to work best for you. I think one of the good things about Santa Clara and universities like it is that we hit a sweet spot in terms of size. The size of the faculty, the size of the student body, and the size of the curriculum. If you think about this spectrum on the slide, on one end, you have the big research universities. If you're in California, that's of course the UC system, UCLA, and others, but Stanford and USC. If you're in Maryland, it would be the University of Maryland. Most states have a state system. On the other end of the spectrum, you have liberal arts colleges. There are more on the East Coast than the West Coast because of how our educational system developed in the US over the past couple of hundred years. But liberal arts colleges will offer a more intimate experience. There are also smaller student bodies, smaller faculties. So the menu for choice is a little less limited, or is a little more limited. As I mentioned, Santa Clara, we have 14 full-time faculty in political science. I think that's enough to give almost any student a good, thorough overview of the discipline of political science, but do it in a way where you get to know your faculty. Our lower division courses in poli-sci are capped at 40 students. All the teaching is done by the faculty member. We don't have any graduate students in arts and sciences at Santa Clara. So there's no TA grading your work. Faculty get to know you, they know your name, they're able to write good letters of recommendation as they see you grow over time. The experience is different at different places. If you go to a big research university, you'll find a much richer menu of courses than we can offer at Santa Clara. But an intro course at a large state school may be 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 people or more. And most of the grading will be done by graduate students, teaching assistants. So it's a different kind of education. It's not that one of these models is necessarily better than the other, but each has pluses and minuses. You have to figure out what trade-offs are going to work best for you. Let me move beyond the classroom to off-campus experiences. Usually Santa Clara has 300-400 students studying abroad each year, perhaps more. In fall of 2019, we had poli-sci majors studying in 12 different countries, from Europe to Latin America to Asia. We also have the Washington semester, which is operated by American University in DC. Students get to spend a semester in DC, intern in the capital, take some courses that will introduce them to national security or public policy in the context of DC. We also have a number of local internships, the local offices of US congressmen, especially members of the House, similar offices for those in the California legislature, a number of county and city offices. San Jose is one of the larger cities in the country and of course has a large bureaucracy because of that. Also the nonprofit sector, including groups like the Silicon Valley Leadership Group. If you go to our webpage, you can see a long list of links to many of these offices where we've placed students in the past and offices with whom we have a relationship. In terms of career paths, one of the frequent questions we always hear at open house and preview days is, well, what do you do with a political science degree? This gives you a rough idea of some of the initial placements of our students in recent years. About 40% head to the private sector. In recent years, that's included firms like Adobe, Google, LinkedIn, Tesla. These placements are not necessarily because of their political science training per se, but because of where the university is located. We're in the heart of Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley is looking for bright, educated, critical thinkers who can apply their writing and communication and analytical and research skills in a diverse number of environments. And so we've had good luck placing students in firms like that. Probably about 20% of students head off directly to law school. We've had some very good placements in recent years. The University of Chicago and Duke, for example, top 10 schools, number of top 20 schools, including Berkeley, USC, UCLA, Notre Dame, and so on. Also a number go to Santa Clara Law School. About 15% in government, although some might venture to DC, a lot of these tend to be more local placements at the city, county, and state level. About 15% of our students go into nonprofit work. Some of this is post-university programs like the Peace Corps, the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, Teach for America, but also with nonprofits based locally in the community. Santa Clara has a rich tradition of training students in social justice and service to others, and we see a lot of students eager to go out and begin their working lives in the service of others. About 10% go off to other kinds of graduate school or pursue fellowships. In public policy, we have students studying at Berkeley and the University of Michigan. In international relations, in the past couple of years, we've had students head off to Georgetown, Johns Hopkins, and Middlebury, among others. We've also been very successful as a department in having students achieve major or earn major national fellowships, including Fulbright awards to numerous countries, a Caro Fellowship in the public sector. In general, the university has become much more intentional about grooming students for success in national fellowships. So that's all good news for you. Again, this was just a very brief overview of the political science department. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, gcorning@scu.edu. Also check out our department webpage at this link for more resources. I know this process you're embarking on might seem a little bit daunting, but I hope you find the adventure in it as you get to explore all of the cool universities and colleges in the United States and get to figure out what's going to work best for you. You know, it's easy in open house settings to get a little bit discouraged maybe, but I hope that you'll be more excited than discouraged, and remember that wherever you end up going, the single most important ingredient in your education is going to be you, and you can succeed at any number of universities in any number of different environments. If you don't show up, it doesn't really matter where you go to school. But if you come to Santa Clara, you'll have faculty and staff and fellow students who are really excited about helping you succeed and moving on to the next stage of your life. So with that, I will end the video and say, go Broncos. Good luck. Take care.